Sweet.
Gross.
Alright guys, here is the new build I was promising you on the last video. What, you say? We've already seen this build. It's Paul's Jeep. But no, it is not Paul's Jeep. It may look like Paul's Jeep, but if you look at the front, it is straight. This is my sister Beth's Jeep. We just got it from a Copart in Pennsylvania and had it shipped here. And it looks like from this side has no damage, other than a few scrapes on the front bumper. This has the hard top instead of the soft top like Paul's, and it's got the Freedom, what they call the Freedom top. This top up here comes off the front part like T-tops. It does have a damaged rear license plate bracket, which will be easy to fix or switch. It's got a dent in the rear bumper, so we're going to replace that, and Beth will have to decide if she wants a aftermarket bumper or if she wants to go back with stock on that. And then here is the damage. So it was hit hard enough on that front pillar of the door to push the top out so far. Did not damage the hard top at all, as you can see. But we won't know how bad until I get that fender and all that off. And the flare, this is the same exact color code as Paul's. So Paul's front fender flare is the same color code as I said, is still good. So I'll probably have, I think it's got some scratches on it, so we'll probably have Mike paint it. And when we get this fender off, we'll be able to see how bad it is underneath there. You can see that the little step was ripped off. And I didn't think there was anything but superficial damage at first, but when you look in here, you can tell that this was pushed, this whole pillar was pushed in enough to kind of buckle this right here. So I would guess pushed in maybe an inch or less. So we will have to get somebody to pull that out. And once that's pulled out, I think it's just a matter of replacing the door and that fender and the flare, and then straightening everything back out. Because you see, like, the hood was tweaked when that pushed in. So, but the hood doesn't have damage. I think it just is moved over a little bit.
A few moments later.
Sweet.
Gross. I hate it.
I wish my Jeep had this interior.
I wish your Jeep had this interior.
Oh no, I see where this is going. So yes, you heard that right. Since Paul loves Beth's interior and Beth does not love Beth's interior, we are going to do in a future episode a complete interior swap. So anything that's in Beth's car or Beth's Jeep here that is tan, we are going to take out and put in Paul's Jeep. And anything that we take out of here, we're going to remove from Paul's and put it back in here. So we'll see how that goes. Never done that before, but we'll see how it goes. The only thing I know of that we're going to have to buy to do that is, since Paul's is an automatic and Beth's is a manual, this piece right here, this front console is made differently up here. So I'm going to have to buy a black manual front console and a tanned automatic front console. So, but I don't think that'll be very much. Everything else should be just a swap, but we'll know more when we get them both side by side. But that's the plan, so that should be interesting on a future episode. Okay, we are on the road to Economy Auto Parts. Me and Paul in Arkansas, Jonesboro, Arkansas, to get parts for Beth's Jeep. So we found a door and a front bumper here and got a good deal, so hopefully they're in good shape. So we'll show you more when we get in there. All right, so we were back from the salvage yard in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Here's the door we got for Beth's Jeep, in great condition. So we'll have to strip it down and get it to Mike so he can get it painted the gray color. And we also got this, what I call a Reese hitch, but this hitch that bolts to the frame underneath the bumper so she can put a receiver in there and pull a trailer. And we also picked up this front bumper. Now this is a front bumper from a Sport, but the only difference between a Sport and a Sahara, like Beth bought, is this center piece right here. It has a cap that goes over it that is body color painted. So I'll show you what hers looks like. You see this cap right here? This is just put on with screws. So we should be able to just take that off, and then we'll treat that new one with some stuff to make the black look good and nice and new, and should just be able to replace that over the top, and it should just be good to go. But this one, as you can see, was damaged right there, so that's why we bought that. And then Paul decided that he was going to buy a aftermarket rear bumper for his, and so this rear bumper needs to go. Beth is going to buy his aftermarket rear bumper, and he's going to give us his stock rear bumper, which is the same color code. So that works out good. And now I just got back a little while ago from Mike's, and he took a look at the damage on here, and he said it does need to go to the frame shop because it's pushed in right here. We don't know how bad it is right here on this mount, but as I showed you earlier, we do have a buckle below the dash here, so it has pushed this in right here enough to push that in, so it's probably at least an inch. Plus he also noticed, and his eye is trained to notice this, which mine isn't, that there's a little bit of a buckle right here. So it hit it hard enough to buckle that, and you know, we talked about earlier that we've also got a wide gap right here in the hood, but and a narrow one over here, so it's pushed stuff around a little bit. We don't think it's bad. We think the frame shop can pull it out pretty easy, and I don't think there's any damage to the hood. So, and this, Paul also has this front fender that he's gonna give Beth. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this flare right here and this fender, and to do that we have to take off this cowl, if you'll remember. So we're gonna go ahead and do all that so the guy at the frame shop can see what's going on behind there when we take it to him. Alright, so I've got all this off, and you know, of course, compared to Paul's, this looks like nothing, but I'm sure it's more than meets the eye. So right here we see the impact. You know, it kind of scraped off this hinge, or kind of hit this door, scraped off this hinge, and its deepest impact was right in here. So you can see where it hit this, bent this little bracket right here. That's the body mount. But I mean, it did it enough to mess up the alignment of the hood. So it's pushed this in enough to cause some alignment problems. So hopefully the frame guy can hook right onto here, pull this straight out, and of course he's gonna know like where to get and what that's gonna do to the other side and all that stuff. But really, that's about all I can do until I get it to him. I've got to order the fender, and once it's in, he'll have all the parts he needs to line it up correctly, and then that's really all we can do until he gets it. Another thing I want to do while I'm out here before I take it to the frame shop is go ahead and get this seat out in case somehow it gets water in through this top that doesn't close all the way. I don't want it to get on Paul's nice leather seat. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to try to get this carpet out, which I think is just kind of stuck in there on Jeeps really easily, so that we can dry out what water did get in there when it was sitting at Copart. So let's do that real quick. Okay, the seat is out, and I didn't figure this out till almost at the end, but the trick to getting these back two bolts out, I was sitting there having a hernia trying to get it out with a ratchet instead of my impact, because I couldn't get the impact in there, but it's to tilt the seat forward like you're going to get into the back seat, and then you can get to those back bolts. So now let's see if we can get this carpet out. Hey, somebody's been playing cards and cleaning their ears at the same time. So that just pulls out, looks like. This all just goes around the wires. Looks like. Now there's one bolt right there. We'll take that off. And hopefully it just pulls out from underneath these side pieces too. But that carpet is soaking wet. Let's get that out and we'll let it dry. Alright, so as you can see, there's soaking wet in there. I mean, it's not standing, but it's wet. And when I pull the carpet out, I mean, it poured out of there. As you can see, I had a little trail all the way over there. I've got it draining out. So we'll let that drain out tonight. And this is a little wet back here, so we'll see what's involved in getting this out back here too. But there's 3 of these little screw-on, just hand screw-on type nuts, plastic nuts. 2 up in the floorboard up in there, and then 1 right here that holds the carpet on. So that's easy. Alright, so let's get this mess cleaned up. We've got stuff everywhere, so we'll bag and tag all the bolts and label everything Beth's Jeep and get this seat put inside. It needs to have the leather cleaned on it. Do that, and just that should be about a wrap for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember to let us know what you think about the interior swap in the comments below. Do you think that's going to be interesting, since we've never done it before? Is that going to be too hard? You guys that have dealt with that before, let us know what you think. Till next time, we'll see you on our next episode.
And always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. See you guys next week. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.